Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel. So we've got a extremely important week of fishing ahead of us. Preparing for Yakka Bass, stop number 7 basically all week. It's the second to last event of the Yakka Bass series, and if you guys have been following the channel, we are making a run at Angler of the Year. We're currently in first, not by much. So these last 2 tournaments will be crucial. Strong finishes are a must. It is definitely going to come down to the wire, and there's really no room for error. So all that being said, this video will be all on the Delta. I'm utilizing it as my practice time essentially. Yes, it's been fishing funky. The bite's just wacky, but we're getting some really hot temperatures this week. It's gonna get into the hundreds, and those Delta fish in the summertime, they love that hot weather. So I'm thinking the bite could really pick up and there could be a big change in the fishing this week. With all that said though, we gotta go out there and find out. We gotta do our homework, put in the effort, try different locations, different spots, and of course, see if we can get on a pattern, a bait, a presentation, something that we can get dialed in on, not just one, maybe a couple of different things, and really get a lot of knowledge from these practice days to hopefully do well in the tournament. But to start this video off, it's the night before, a day out on the water, just rigged everything up, got batteries charged, everything restocked, lots of water and Gatorades packed, and I wanted to give you guys a little lineup or overview of the 10, yes I said it, 10 rods we'll be bringing out on the Delta. I know that's a lot of rods, but honestly, when you're tournament fishing or practicing, you want to be as efficient as possible, and one definite way you can be efficient is not having to retie different baits. And sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes I'm just kind of lazy and I see something and I'm like, you know what, that looks like it could be good for X bait, and it might not be tied on, and I might be a little lazy and I just might not tie it on. Well, if you have a lot of rods and you have all the baits that you think you might need in a day, you don't have to tie it on, you just have to grab the rod. So that was my little spiel about why I have so many rods, and also they serve as backups too. If you break one, you usually have another one that would double for that in its place in a pinch. But anyways, let's get started. 10 rods, we're gonna go through these real quick. All right, number 1, gotta go with it. Bringing out the old quad buzz. Buzz bait can be an absolute killer in these hot temperatures. Get some of the biggest fish in the water to react and bite, so gotta have a buzz bait with us. Number 2, a bait that I had a ton of success with and maybe was one of the top baits of last summer's fishing out on the Delta was the Berkeley Gilly. Soft swim bait, weedless presentation, ultra lifelike action, and it skips really well under trees, into shade pockets, and it gets some big fish to bite. Number 3, this is essential anytime you go out on the Delta, with maybe the exception of a month or 2, but definitely in the summer. Do not go out on the Delta in August if you don't have a frog. This is a poppin' frog, a little bit smaller profile, black, has a little bit of a green lip on it. I like a poppin' frog in August, and it really replaces the popper for me. On a similar note, in rod number 4, another frog, but again, one of those scenarios where maybe I would want to throw one frog or the other, just maybe I'm lazy and I don't tie it on, but I got both rods, 2 frog rods, obviously one doubles as a backup as well, but here is a standard frog. It's a live target frog, black, it's a bigger profile, and this will probably be the one we work over mats and vegetation. Number 5, we've got Chapo. This is a black or maverick color Chapo. It's got a little bit of an orange nose. And last year, in the month of August, this particular bait, you can even see it's got some pretty good hook rash on it. Did very well for me on the Delta. Okay, number 6. This is a bite that has been really non-existent for me the past couple of years out on the Delta, but you gotta have it just in case they're in a chasing mood. I think this is a specific bait that shines on the Delta because, in my opinion, the action, the movement not only imitates baitfish, but it imitates crawfish as well, and crawfish are a major forage out on the Delta, so gotta go with a bladed jig. This is just a green pumpkin one with a swim Senko trailer with a black nickel blade. Similar to the frog, rod number 7, something you should always have with you if you're heading out on the Delta, and that's just a 5-inch stick worm, weightless, wacky style of course. Number 8, this is something I really haven't used that much on the Delta in August, but I wanted to have it just in case. It's basically a punch setup, but instead of a big old weight to punch through, it's actually more of a finesse, or maybe more of a Texas rig setup for you guys out there, and that's just a 1/2 ounce weight pegged with a little boss scrub on the end. Slimmer profile, lighter weight, but if I can find areas that I can throw that into shade pockets or little holes in the grass, I think that could certainly be a player. Number 9, this is the one where I'm struggling, scratching my head. I need that 5th keeper. I need a bite. I need some confidence. I need something to happen, and that's why we have this rod. It's a weedless drop shot rig. I've got a little hit worm on there, but this can be interchanged with any drop shot worm, some purple worms, green pumpkin, black and blue, whatever you like. Gotta have a weedless drop shot rig on the Delta for that just in case bait. And last but certainly not least, especially for the month of August, we've got the old trusty punch rig. This is the big boy right here. This has got 1.5 ounce tungsten weight on there. We've got a little Pit Boss with a flipping hook, 65-pound peel-on braid, the works. Things are gonna be thick out there. It's gonna be the jungle, as they say, and you need something to bust through all that vegetation. So punch rig is another great setup, great presentation for the month of August out on the Delta. So yeah, guys, those are the 10 setups we have ready for tomorrow and essentially the entire week of fishing. But again, the point of tomorrow and the trips after that this week leading up into the weekend are to practice, to get an idea, to get dialed in on a bite, hopefully for what is at this point the most important tournament weekend of the year. That's the overview, the context of this video and the videos to come, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow for the day out on the Delta. Folks, morning. Fishing way down south today. This is a spot that I had some very good fortune last year, just about this time of year. And you know, I don't love fishing history, but I'd also be kicking myself if it was going on down here, popping off, and I didn't check it. So I have to fish it. The crazy thing is, expectations aren't super high. Delta has changed so much this year with all this water we've had. Flows are different, the levee breaks. And even if it were a normal year, usually history does not work on the California Delta. These fish change all the time, and I've rarely found where I've come to an area that I've had success the year before, and it just works out. Oh, that's a good sign. That was a good one. Oh man, sounded like a big fish too. Oh. There's no way it took this long to figure this out right now. Is it really going to be a history thing? It's a good fish. That's the thing about this area last year and how it is in the Delta, man. There are lots of fish everywhere in the Delta, but finding a good population of quality fish is the tricky part in the summer. First bite seemed big. That was a 3.5 pounder. 613, and I'm already pretty... Well, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. Oh boy. It is Monday too. This tournament's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a lot of time between now and then. Now what we don't want to happen right now is to cue a casting montage, because that would be bad. And I'd be back at square one. That kind of seemed like a bass. I don't know. I'll have to look at the GoPro footage. I mean, odds are it was a carp, but I don't know. kind of nasty over here. It's getting dirtier and dirtier and more dead grass. It's been over an hour since our last bite. Yeah, I think I'm just about ready to call it quits on this area. Shame. I thought this one came easy to us. Guess not. That was weird. I saw like this little tiny bait fish. It almost looked like a bluegill or something red. Oh, they're on the other side, I think. Oh no! Whoa. Alright, maybe I have to try a little longer in this area. That was a big one. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't even know what it was. I thought they were like little frogs. They're like these little 4-inch bait fish, but they're like hopping along the surface. Only reason I stopped was like, because I just was like looking down and I saw one like swimming right at me, kind of hopping right at me, and there's something big right underneath it. Maybe the fish shifted over, I don't know. Never straightforward. Alright, made a little bit of a run. Start fishing. Definitely not as much vegetation as I thought there'd be. They sprayed for sure. Water is a little bit cleaner here. Went up about 2 miles north of our last spot. It's another area that I've done well in the past. Just kind of depends on time of year, really, if there's fish here or not. Goofed me up a little guy. Little guy. Little fella. See, the thing is, this morning we were almost there to finding a really good little spot, good little starting point. Basically, for practice and areas that I want to fish during the tournament, I'm looking for numbers and size. We had the size this morning, but just didn't have the numbers. And we covered quite a bit of water without getting bit, and the water just started looking kind of nasty. So that's essentially the formula that I'm looking for to... I just got bumped by another little one. The formula I'm looking for a tournament spot. Numbers and size. Oh, little one, like a little one. Man, how have we not actually put one in the boat yet? That's kind of the sad part. There we go. Finally got a keeper. Little fella, but he was a frog eater. He's fat, way up on the rocks. That's finally a bite that we actually got in the boat. Ooh, can't tell how big that one was. I don't think it's good. Ooh, little guy. That one's small. Maybe a little keeper, actually. I got him hooked funny. Just had one followed out. Oh, I just got that one. Not part of the formula. This is like a keeper. Drop shot, eh? Hello, keeper. Figure you got 2 bites off an area. There's got to be more fish there. Well, if for some reason we launched down here, I guess this could be a spot we could go to in a pinch if we need a bite. Maybe. I don't know. That one was barely 12, I think. A little one. Oh my goodness gracious. How is this possible? Oh. Alright, you want to go through the scepter. I get it. It'll barely fit, but you'll do it. There we go. Alrighty guys, 2:30. Whew, it got toasty out there. I'll tell you what, having that cloud cover and a little bit of breeze this morning really kept it pretty comfortable out there. But as soon as that went away and the sun was straight up in the sky, I felt every bit of that 100-degree air temp. So yeah, 2:30, happy to get off the water. Not so happy with the results from the day. Pre-fish, again, went to an area that I had success last year, same time of year, in a certain spot. Basically fishing history. You know what, realistically, expectations weren't super high. And I will re-emphasize this, Delta specifically, have I had a spot, an area that I caught them real good at a certain time of year in a certain area, and then repeated that the following year, and it was the exact same thing. That just doesn't seem to be how the Delta sets up. It always changes, which of course makes it pretty unique, but I still had to check that one little section, that one little stretch, and a few of the adjacent areas today just to see if there were some big fish around willing to eat the frogs, some topwater. And you know what? It started out really promising. The first little stretch we went to, got a blow up, a seemingly big blow up on that Chapo. Thought it was a good sign. Not much longer later, hooked into a fish on the Chapo. Was being pretty nonchalant with that fish, playing it, jumped a few times, but it looked like a, you know, a solid 3.5–4 pound fish, probably a 17–18 incher. So I thought that was a really good sign. And I don't know how many cast montages will be throughout this video, but that was definitely a scenario where we could have played a cast montage for sure, because we went probably another mile of that stretch throwing different baits, the Chapo, the frogs, bladed jig. We flipped a little bit and didn't get another bite. The area started to look a little bit different once I got a good look at that water. A lot dirtier. The grass had definitely been sprayed. It was all dead and kind of crusty like. So I just decided to turn around, hightail it out of there. But as we were leaving that one particular slough, I was actually looking down right to my left, saw a little bait fish just kind of chasing, swimming up to the surface. I thought I saw a few of those throughout the day, and right behind it was something big. So I stopped, I slowed down, got the Chapo back out. Sure enough, got bit on it. Seemed like another quality fish, you know, 3-pounder or so. It came off, but thought maybe I overlooked the spot. But long story short, kept fishing it, tried some different baits, and that was really all we got from that spot. Some early morning topwater, and that was it. Ventured on, covered a lot of water, and again, a lot of what I like to do in practice is not necessarily catch fish, though that is nice, but eliminating water, especially out in the Delta, you don't know exactly what it's going to look like year to year, season to season, really. So I wanted to check a couple of other areas that I've had success on in the past, and I'm glad I checked them because they weren't good. Lack of vegetation, they sprayed some, water was pretty dirty. This whole south area of the Delta right now has a lot more current going on. I'm not sure what's up with that, but there was a lot more current. The tides were just really strong. You know, unless the water's a little bit cleaner, I don't really like that with muddy water in summertime on the Delta. Overall, I mean, we caught a few dinks. I think we caught one on the frog. Nothing really to write home about, and nothing that would make me really consider coming back here on tournament day. Again, who knows what'll happen, but this is definitely not an area I'm sold on at this point. So we move on. We move on to tomorrow, another day of pre-fishing. I'm going to try somewhere completely different. We're going to head up way north, fish some cleaner water, and tell you what, let's just cut to the chase and get right to day 2 of practice. Alrighty, good morning folks. Just about 6 o'clock, day 2 of practice. Decided to go completely opposite today, and instead of fishing history, gone to a launch, a place on the Delta that I have never fished before in my life. So launched at B&W today. Actually a really nice launch in general, but nice for the kayaks as well. Yeah, made my way north, and then we're just gonna start fishing. Oh, there's something behind me. Got a high tide. Definitely gonna start with some top water. You just get a feel for it. Hopefully we find something today. Oh, I had a bite. I had a bite right there. Doesn't seem that big though. dangerous one. Dangerous one. Dangerous one. It's like a smallmouth almost. Alright. Man, gorgeous morning though. Gorgeous morning. Small one. That was weird. Oh, for sure he took it. Oh, for sure you took it down with you. Well, you guys know what the rules are today. The idea, we need numbers and quality. A couple of good ones. I say that just as in before 9 o'clock. I think after 9 o'clock it's going to be tough. And we just got to figure out a technique that I have some confidence we can actually get bid on that lower tide. Tell me we're in the land of the dinks. There's a big one. Oh, I thought that was big. I don't think a frog is going to be necessarily the bait you try to fill a limit with, or maybe it is. It's more that just big bite potential. You got to be choosy. You can't be wasting too much time throwing this if it's not going to be as productive as other baits. Another little one. Man, not good. Not good. Ooh. Oh my god, that wasn't the fish though, right? That wasn't the fish. That was weird. I'm not even looking for big fish, I'm just looking for like 2-pounders. 2-pounders is all I want. Seems better. I saw that fish move. Fish. I get it. How do you guys not get the frog? There's a big one. A better one. See, these are the ones we need right here. Like again, not a big fish, but you know, 14-incher or so. If we could do that consistently throughout an area, I'd feel good. Just, man, it just doesn't seem to be the case. All that said, that's another bite in the cheese. Like that fish didn't hit it in the open water like the other ones have. It was up through the cheese. If you guys could just turn into 2-3-pounders, that's all I'm looking for. 2-3-pounders. That's all you need on the Delta this year, it seems like. 2-3-pounders, 1 kicker, you're golden. Another little one had it. Let's see how little these fish are, shall we? Let's see what kind of size we're dealing with here. There's clearly a ton of fish right up on the trough. Yeah, these guys right here. These guys are the culprits. Okay, a little better. This is what we should be catching all day long right here. I mean, that's not even, it's only like a 13-incher, but 14 and a half, yeah. At least there's some life over here. At least there's some life. It's an open water frog bite too. Alright. A few more of those. And give me like a 17-incher, and I'll feel nice about this area. Again, it's another area that has a lot of options. It's not a dead end. We can cover water. You don't have to get stuck in one area. So just keep going with it. Spinnerbait, okay. Man, spinnerbait's still working, eh? A little keeper. See, this is good because, I mean, well, maybe a keeper. The other place we were at yesterday, it just didn't feel like it had a lot of life. It just felt impossible. You know, that low tide, and again, this looks another one right there. This will get a low tide, but on low tide yesterday, just did not feel like there was any potential to get bit. Limit fish are nice, but still need that one key ingredient, a good bite. There's a school of them right there. I would take 5 of these to start the day, no problem. Actually, never mind, it's not good. Just look bigger. These are all trough fish. Fish up against the trough when the tide's high. Always a numbers thing for me when they're biting it, but I've never really caught a big one fish in the trough. A bunch of them right here. That's cool. Oh, a little one following it up. Little ones. Can we weed any of you guys out? What if? What if? Man, alright, chatterbait too, huh? Bladed jig get the bigger bites? Who knows? These are all trough fish. I'm not even sure the bait really matters. They're just fish lined up on the bank, feeding. Is it raining? Dude, look at that. I got one rain cloud ahead above me. That's weird. It's like when you look at the weather and you see the percent chance of rain and it's like 1% or 2%. I think I just hit that 1%er. Even the little ones are smoking this thing. A little better. Oh, that's the kind we need right there. That's like a fish we're happy about right there. We're happy about that one. That's another 14-incher. Right? It's fat, not very long. Yeah, 14 and a half, 14. Weighted jig. Okay. Still waiting on that 17, 18-incher. They're here. They gotta be here. Well, it's definitely slowed down. You can see the tide's dropped quite a bit, maybe about a foot or so, and the bite slowed down as well. Just like yesterday. It's gonna be like early morning. You just gotta capitalize and get your limit, I think. And then after that, just fish hard and hopefully come across the right one. I don't know. That's assuming that's like the same thing for all areas, but I don't know. Please be a 3-pounder. Please be a 3-pounder. Dang it. Still not what we're looking for. I mean, it's finally a keeper. And it's a keeper when the bite is definitely tough. A little 15-incher maybe. Way up against the bank. And the cheese. I think it's a 15. Right? Oh yeah, 15. See, that's a good one. 3 15s is 75 inches, and I think it's going to be about 80 a day, tournament-wise, to contend. That's a big fish of the trip so far. Up against the bank, I mean, that's where they were earlier when the tide was high. Maybe they're still there. If I can get a couple more bites like that in this area, I'll be happy. That's a good one. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll take this one all day. Oh my goodness. Okie dokie. There's a nice one. Man, red 12 o'clock too. Oh. Not very long. Not the greatest kayak bass in the world, but a fish after 9:30 is like a bonus. See, that's only 15. Just chunky though. Okay. Made a little run to another section of the river. This isn't too far from the first area that was kind of productive in the morning. That's a good thing, you know. 2 areas that maybe we could work on and are close proximity. Whoa. Is that a bass? I didn't get a great look at it. I'm gonna have to review that on the GoPro. Seems real skinny. Man, I'm gonna say another thing that's really weird about this year that's totally different than years past is, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2 days out here on the Delta, I've yet to see like fish, like keeper size fish cruising around. I've seen the dinks, but I've just not seen like 15-inch plus fish cruising around. Usually it's not a problem to see those fish and really big ones just cruising around. I just haven't seen it this year. Oh, speaking of, there's a pretty good one right there. 17-incher. Just saying, haven't seen a good one in a while. There's one right there. Like a baby. Whoa, there's a big one right there. There's like a boat, sunken boat right there, and there's like a 4-pounder just swimming around. As soon as I said it, I haven't seen any big fish in the Delta. You know, when you see a couple of good ones, there's more. You don't just see them all. What were you doing, sir? Thought it was bigger than that. Well, he sucked it in. Look at that perfect hook placement. Oh, they're definitely under these cheese mats. Definitely under these cheese mats. That's another little one, I think, but gave himself up. Oh. 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 Little punchy area. Finally punched one. I mean, I know they're under the grass, so it's like, why won't you bite? Well, this launch ticks every box, literally every box, because we've caught them on a bunch of different baits, caught them at different times, different tides. The only one we're missing is a big bite, which I guess it's not the most important, but it's a confidence booster for sure. Alrighty guys, 2:30, another about 8-hour day out on the water. Second day of practice complete. I mean, we're catching fish. I'd say this area overall was better. Definitely had more confidence throughout the day. Fished a bunch of areas that actually had some healthy grass. Still didn't get that big bite we're looking for, that quality fish. Started out the morning and things got pretty good fast. I think we missed a couple on the top water, but then we went to town. Then we caught some nice fish in like a little 20-minute window between the frog, spinnerbait, chatterbait. Nothing big, but you know, keeper size fish with maybe a couple of 14.5, 15 inches in the mix, which I'm okay with. That's another checklist item for sure. As far as practice goes, find some 14 to 15 inch fish. And then it got tough. We just kept working further up that slough. Got a little skinnier, water got a little faster, and things got a little bit browner, if you know what I'm saying. A lot of spraying up there, a lot of dead grass, and just like yesterday, you find an area with a bunch of dead grass, there's not a whole lot of life. So finally turned around, fished our way back. Tide was starting to get pretty low. Ended up hooking to a decent one, possibly big fish of the day on a frog. Came up out of the cheese, right up against the bank. A lot of these fish seem to be right on that trough line, so kind of surprising. I tried a bunch of stuff to see if we could maybe get some deeper fish, punch fish, you know, rolling a spinnerbait, a chatterbait on that outside weed line, but I didn't really have any success doing that. Everything seemed really up close to the bank, but a good sign that one was willing to come up through the cheese and eat the frog. Made a little bit of a run to the main channel. Did hook into another small keeper. I think it was another 14.5 incher, fat one on the frog, and yeah, did okay. Caught a few more frog fish, and that was another thing I was looking for, was that afternoon bite. You know, it seemed like yesterday the bite got really tough, really dead after about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and today it seemed like the same thing was happening. So I really wanted to find an area on a lower tide with the sun up, hot weather, we could maybe figure out a way to get some bites. And that particular area had some good cheese, some good grass, and obviously able to get a couple on the frog, and then even one on the punch. But I don't know, man, it's tough going over these last 2 days, just kind of comparing the areas. This area on paper seems like it would be way better. Caught a lot more fish, got a lot more bites, but in reality, yesterday, 3 bites that we had, and definitely the one we had hooked, I think were just better overall size. And that was pretty much all we had, but you don't get extra points for catching 100 fish in these tournaments. You just need 5 of the right fish. So I got to keep that in mind with these practices, to not get overly excited about just getting bites, because bites are one thing, quality bites are another. Yesterday, it seemed like we had the quality, but we were missing the numbers, and today we're getting the numbers, but lacking the quality. Anyways, tomorrow we have one more day of pre-fish, or our final day of pre-fish for us personally. I'm not sure exactly where we're gonna go, but we will go somewhere different. That all said, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning for our final day of practice out on the Delta. All right, let's get started. Bait number 3, guys. Really hoping we find something today. Oh. do it. See, that one's like, that's a borderline fish right there. Could that even be 12? 11. 11 incher. A bladed jig bite though. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's definitely a keeper. Fatty. Dude, that's a real fat one. It felt way bigger. 13 inches maybe. Dude, that is a 13 incher. Look at the gut on that thing. Eating well. I almost didn't dip into this island. It's usually not a place I'd fish unless it was like the spring, the spawn time, but there's clearly a few fish in here. Another fatty. Man, if you guys were just like 2 inches longer, I'd get a little tingly. Another one. Man, just punched all that. Not a single punch bite. These fish are just like on the outside. Oh, that's a big one. That is a bigger one, I think. Right at the boat. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. It just flashed at me. Oh, my God. Sorry, dude. Sorry. I feel bad when that kind of stuff happens. Man, I just saw something come right up at it. I thought I ate it at both sides of the hook. Yikes. Land of the teenage bass. Could be bad. I just broke my rod. Sea lion. Maybe he's got all the fish. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen. I'm glad it happened now versus tournament day though. It's the exact same way I broke my other punch rod. Had the weight fly at me and it hit the rod, damages the blank, and no, it's actually, I'm glad it happened now versus tournament day. Oh boy. That might be my cue to get off the water. Alright guys, just after 12 o'clock, and that is it. About 3 full days out on the California Delta for practice for the most important tournament of the year coming up this weekend. Today was a big fat dud. I mean, we caught some fish, but again, not the pieces of the puzzle that we needed to solidify this as an area that we'd want to fish and expand on for tournament day. Covered a lot of water, and I'd say the most productive area was actually within an island on the chatterbait, catching numbers, but still not the size we're looking for. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what other people are catching out there, how they're doing. I mean, for me personally, over these past 3 days, a 15-16 inch fish is a good fish out here. I don't know if it's just me or if that's how the Delta is fishing right now, but the only area that we caught a few of those is the spot we went to yesterday, and even that spot was just so-so. I mean, we definitely didn't find the gold mine, the jackpot, and you know, rarely does that happen during a practice. You're really more so looking for an idea, a bite, a pattern, and an area that you have confidence in going to, not only for tournament day, but these multi-day tournaments and spending 3 days out in. So with that all said, I've got some thinking to do. I've got some brainstorming to do. Need to really think about where I want to launch the first day of the tournament, and we'll talk about this more in the tournament videos, but there are 2 different tournaments going on, with Saturday being the day of overlap, and the one specifically we're talking about for AOY is a Saturday-Sunday. So that first tournament on Friday, the West Coast Championship Day 1, we in theory could say, okay, you know what, Yakka bass is more important, and actually do a pre-fish on West Coast Championship Day 1 on Friday and try a different area. I don't know, a lot to think about, but I'll say this, it's fun out there. Despite it being kind of tough and lack of big fish, this remains one of my favorite places to fish in the world. Just love how it fishes, the scenery, the way you fish it, shallow, grass, power fishing, top water. No, these past 3 days, even though they were practice days, were a lot of fun. So guys, that is going to do it for the practice video. This tournament will be interesting for sure. It's going to be a lot of fishing, a lot of kayak fishing out on the Delta. Looking forward to it, reuniting with the crew. With that all said, guys, I will see you in the next video for tournament weekend. Should be a fun one, so I'll see you then.